Speaking on Brady Manek too, that you mentioned him, he transferred in from Oklahoma last season, and I actually was going through my transfer rankings mid-season report, and he was one that I just couldn't help but put on there. I think I had him like top 15, and frankly, looking back, I think I'm too low on that at this point. But from an insider's perspective, like, has he been a surprise to you? Did you guys expect him to be this valuable when he came in?
I think they knew they had something special just because of his shooting ability. I think what surprised people was how well he fit into the culture as a kid who really hadn't left Oklahoma his entire life for any, sustained amount of time to come to Chapel Hill just last May and just immediately buy into what Hubert Davis was his vision of the North Carolina program. So I think that surprised him. I think his passing ability maybe didn't show up on tape as much as people thought. He's an exquisite passer, especially in the half court. I think a lot of the things that he does, they're something that you get from a player playing his fifth year. He knows the spots to be in. He kind of knows how to work his zone. He knows when to cut. He knows when to pop. And again, with Armando Bacot, the way North Carolina's playing now, there's so many pick and rolls, and they're using that middle pick and roll a ton. And it Manek's place in it is perfect because when Armando Bacot rolls to the basket, he receives the ball kind of in the middle of the court. He has a split second decision. He can look out to Manek over in the baseline. He can kick it out on the wings to either RJ Davis or Caleb Love, who have improved their shooting tremendously this year. Or he can kick it out to Leaky Black. And what Manek has done in those scenarios, he either pops out and he's tremendous at that corner three, or he cuts to the basket and Black usually finds him about once a game, just cutting for a layup around the basket. So he really has just given Armando Bacot more space because guys have to
Mm-hmm.
honor him out into the corner. And it just helped them as a team tremendously.
Yeah, from again, my perspective, it seemed like, especially after Dawson went out, like Armando has been Armando all season long. I think he's now tied for first for leading the country in double doubles as he's entering the Final Four. I think he has a chance to even tie the record. I'll have to double check on that. But Brady, since that Dawson Garcia departure, it's like aside from Armando, he's become like the most reliable piece on this team, consistent day in and day out, especially shooting the basketball. That's been incredibly valuable for this basketball team. But funny enough, as you were telling me, there's a story behind him ending up at North Carolina, and it honestly it didn't seem like it was going to happen at one point. But how did that all unfold?
Yeah, so Hubert Davis takes the job. I think it was April 4th or something like that. And he immediately starts, contacting guys in the portal, contacting players who were at Carolina and went into the portal, Walker Kessler, and just trying to upgrade the roster to fit his own image. And the biggest part of that was he wanted to stretch four. As people know, Carolina's kind of played two traditional bigs for forever, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to switch to a more one in, four out system. And Manek was kind of, the perfect four. So he identified really three guys, I think. Justin McCoy from Virginia, who ended up committing to UNC within 4 days of Davis taking the job. Christian Bishop, who was transferring from Creighton, and then Brady Manek, who was transferring from Oklahoma. So the way it kind of worked out, UNC made it clear that because McCoy had already committed, they really had one spot for another four-man. And Christian Bishop, had talked to Hubert Davis, had good conversations. Brady Manek, the same thing. But I think it was so Christian Bishop ended up committing on a Saturday, and he announced that he was going to commit on, I think that was a Thursday evening. And North Carolina, again, made it clear they only had one spot. And the intel or the information we were getting was that it was Kansas, Texas, and UNC, and that he wasn't too keen on, going to Kansas because he's from there, he's from around that area, and that North Carolina kind of had a leg up. But I think his decision to announce when he was going to announce his decision gave UNC some ammunition to say, "Hey, Brady, we like you, but we think we're going to get this kid on Saturday, so here's your chance." And Brady Manek committed that Friday, a day before Bishop was set to commit.
Straight stole the spot from him. That's funny, man. But obviously, it worked out very much into this North Carolina team's favor.